now we're finding that most of the skill is going to be coming from over east or from New Zealand. WA's just brought in a new incentive for tradies from New Zealand or over east that they'll give $5,000 upon job approval and then another $5,000 6 months down the track when you still have your job. So it's a really good incentive. Come over to WA and help us out, because at the moment it's lacking and we really need it.
I think it's like a lot to do with the standard of roofing and standard of housing, and WA is still quite behind the products and stuff that they use in WA as well. So it's slow to change, a little bit slower to catch up to the other states, like the eastern states as well, as where you'll have like people doing a lot of like architectural cladding and nicer sort of homes and stuff getting built over the eastern states and New Zealand and stuff, whereas WA's just been carrying on with the same kind of architecture and building standards for a lot longer. Architects and stuff are only picking up on doing that sort of stuff now, whereas it's been going on for years. Other countries and those other states have been learning to use those systems for a lot longer. Trying to find the people that can do that stuff here is a lot harder because it's so new here, or if it's not new, it's just like a very niche market. The experience of labour, or I guess the experience needed to do these sort of installs, is lacking here. So that's what we're trying to find. It's not necessarily like just a roofer that can just sheet a house. It's someone with experience and like the qualities that we're looking for. That's hard. And then also with like the housing crisis here as well, it's like we're trying to get people over here to build, 30,000 houses to start with. I think they're planning on, kicking that off now, or have kicked it off.
Yeah, Dylan's 100% right when it comes to like the standard of the homes over here. They're just like smash and bash, sort of get them up really quick, and that trickles down to the tradies. So that's what the builders want. They want to just pump these houses out, get them done as quick as possible to make the clients happy. So what happens is they force that upon the tradies. Hey, get this job done really quick. Needs to be cheap, needs to be fast. So that's the quality and the standard of the tradies that you're going to get. So you get like teams rolling out there just throwing roofs up, not giving a fuck, and that's not what we want to do. We want to take our time. That's why we do the re-roofing, because we've, figured out that that's not for us. This type of work's for us. We can take our time and we can actually transform homes. Up in Scarborough, we were just sort of finishing that up. That was that high-end sort of re-roof. So we had all the nice standing seam in that. That house now, even though it took really long and we spent a lot of time on it with labour and, we probably bit ourselves in the arse a little bit, starting to pay off now. Then the architects came down and they were just like blown away. They literally said they've never seen it done this way before. To hear that from an architect who's been in the game for so many years, he knows so many roofing companies and so many roofers, it just speaks volumes, just provide a really, really good quality service.
I'm actually working with the architecture for them the architect for that business to create a guide, like a flashing guide for his clients to go off. They'll see what flashing details that we require, and they can sort of build the house to suit how everything's going to be installed. So it's cool knowing that that's going to help those products grow and they're going to be installed properly, and obviously you're going to have a lot more people that are interested in using it, because when they do see it, it's going to look good.
And then plan to kind of pick the business up down here, but it's kind of a bit dead at the moment, and kind of getting underquoted a little bit as well. So yeah.
I've got another question for you. Sorry, Tom. How would you go? I'll just give you a little scenario on site. So say you came over, you jumped in the crew, and you see another, senior roofer or someone in our crew doing something that's sort of a red flag to you. How would you approach it? How would you approach that situation? Mine and Dylan's interview process now is, we call it the double-pronged attack.
The tag team's attack.
The tag team, but before it was just like a little combo, it was like, oh, hey, how's it going? You can roof? Yeah, great. All right, jump on board. That's how it was, because we're so desperate for workers. And, we always want workers, but just asking those questions are so key, Asking all those questions, like those technical ones, and, even the behavioural ones, like how they'll go on a team, and letting them talk about themselves is really important. So, yeah, if there's anyone out there who's struggling with interviewing or even hiring, just make your hiring process or your interview process a lot more thorough. Have questions that are open-ended, so they're not just, answering yes or no. So let them talk, let them talk as much as possible and gather as much information off them as possible. So while I'm asking a question, he's writing what he thinks about the answer, and then vice versa. That way we can just have a chat after and go, okay, what did you reckon about that question? What did you reckon about this? How do you think it will go here? That way we can just, evaluate whether that person is going to pass that interview process or not.
I was asking him, I said, what do you think, like what's good, like what makes a good like supervisor or a good boss? And one thing that he said to me stuck with me like the whole time and actually helped me, when I was working for other people and now especially working for myself. It's like he said to me, he would never ask someone to do something that he wouldn't do himself. You know what I mean? So it's like asking someone to do a job that you wouldn't do yourself. It's almost common sense, but a lot of business owners or supervisors would easily ask someone, hey man, like go do that for me, or hey, can you do this job for me? But it's something that they would never do themselves. Like it might be a horrible task or a job that's not set up the right way, but he's still expecting people to go do it, and it's nothing. He would never be caught dead doing it himself. That's sort of something I've stuck by. Is like, hey, I'll be like, hey man, do this flashing, or jump up here and do this, hang this bit of gutter, or whatever it is. But I know everything I'm asking the lads, I can do myself or would do myself, and I wouldn't ask them to do something I wouldn't do myself. And there's even jobs that I'll go out of my way and do for the lads because I just don't expect them to do it. Like I just know that, that's like a real shit job, or that's like might be really tricky, something really tricky to do. And I'll just go, right, I'll just do that myself. Because if I was asked to do that, I wouldn't be comfortable in doing it. So I think it's got me a long way. Like when I was a supervisor and when I was working with lads on the tools all the time, they have that bit of respect for you because they know that you'll be the first person to actually jump in and do it yourself. Who are we going to have to run the job that the lads are on now come Monday?
We'll probably just have to have Michael because he's been on that with Ty anyway. He's been pretty much, he knows what's going on. That'll be pretty much done, bro, by Tuesday, I reckon.
So Tuesday they'll be flashing on that job.
Yeah.
I'll just put a note here on that too because...
Who's going to be on that? So Troy's definitely going to be back on Monday?
Yeah, his leave ends today. Which
sweet.
He's obviously flying back this weekend. Or
Okay.
Flying back today.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, so we'll have Troy. Or they might even sheet that and get to... If Troy's here, he'll probably get into it pretty hard.
The boys are starting to actually flash now. I was just on the phone to Ty and I was just walking through how those ridges meet those aprons.
Sweet.
So Ty's starting to flash now, so maybe, I don't know, maybe Michael's carrying on sheeting at the moment.
Yeah.
With Alex.
Be done on that elderly job. Unless you want to, we've got plenty of time. Like we can, if you need to do other things, we can push it out a bit, or we can have a couple guys go down there and do the gutters.
We'll send Caleb down there as well on the Tuesday.
Okay. And fucking Monday, Tuesday. So
half the crew turns up on Monday.
yeah. Can all change that
the
quick.
Lads get indigestion on Mondays.
Yeah. Oh, sweet as. That's all good, eh? All right.
Good.
I'm gonna shoot. Do you want to come to this and have a look at this job, Dills? I'm going to the one in Hillary's. I'm gonna meet our scaffy there, that boat shed one. But if there's only one or two installers that can do it, then we're nailing that niche. So that's what we're going to try and do in the next couple of years, is really pump this high-end stuff and build a crew that can do it skill-wise. So we're bringing a lot of guys over from NZ, which they all know how to do that stuff. That's like second nature for them. So we've already spoke to 2 guys from NZ. One of them's coming over at the end of the year, and one of them's coming over early next year. So we'll probably have those guys on, and just going to build the team. Eventually we'll have 2 teams, one doing re-roofing and one doing high-end like architectural cladding and stuff. So that'll be really cool. Bro, this is it. So these 4 here, we've got to re-roof all these, and then we just need scaff. I'm just going to make the scaff sort of go up, and then in between to get all those gutters and stuff. Yeah. Fuck, imagine that. That'd be nuts, eh?
All the same day.
Yeah. Oh, hopefully one day do these little ones first.
Quick cash the little ones then.
Yeah. Cool.
You got that on your phone as well, didn't it?
Yeah, I got one on my phone. This one's like super accurate, eh?
So like, what are you doing now? Like, what's like going through
So basically just wanting to check the cavity, see what we have to tie into. So when you're going from a tile roof going to colourborn, you have to make sure that you're installing tie downs. So going from a heavier component to a lighter component. When you have, especially in this area, there's a lot of wind, got to put all our tie downs in. Anything that the engineer specifies for this job, we have to make sure it's done properly. So usually the tie downs will go in between the cavity and then up to the rafters. So they get hooked on here and they'll go through a cavity and then they'll get pinned in the wall down bottom. All right, brother. Thanks for coming out.
All good.
Appreciate it, bro. All right, you have a good one, eh?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Nice meeting you, mate.
See you, bro.
Have a good day.
You too.